Welcome to the fun video time. And in this episode, we are going to be making our game come to life by adding player animation and by adding colors to the game. If you want the game to have colors, you may do it. Or else you can just skip this part and let's get scratching. Now, if you still like your normal orange or red, blue, green, yellow costumes, you are allowed to use that. Okay, so I will let you look at these player costumes. So this is my idol costume, my left, my right. See that there's a little bit of space left over here, my up and my down. You don't have to make it pixel perfect, okay? So in the player sprite, make a new variable called key. Now, I'm making this for a reason. There's like a problem where some scratchers face that when they just switch costume to left, like if the costume name is left and they change the costume to left in the left arrow, that is where things get out of hand. And right in the right arrow, that will also have a more problematic situation. So what is that problematic situation? How can we know where can we switch our our costume back to the idol? Well, one is when it goes to 0, or but if they're having smooth movements, that won't work. With that reason, I have made this variable called key, which will be set to a number, and then from that specific number, we will then be able to take our animations in hand. So how do we code this? First, we'll set key to take a minus operator. Now this is a trick. Key right arrow. So if I switch key to key right arrow, see that if we are touching the key right arrow, the key is true and not, it is false. But look at this. If we put a key right arrow minus in there, it quickly changes it to numbers. As Scratch knows that we are using numbers because of the minus operator, it will convert it to numbers. So we can take that into advantage and then add a left arrow. Now, how can we actually take that into our advantage? Told you, 1 will go right and then switch costume to right. 0 will not even go anywhere and then switch costume to idle. And then -1, guessed it, left. So that is how we can take things into our advantage. Like this trick? Nice. So let's add a greater than operator. So add an equals to operator in the first if, and then put a key equaling to -1. So that will actually let us go left for now, okay? Okay, then you can put a key equaling to 1 and then hurrah! The player can now move. So now let's add our animation. So let's make a block called animation as usual. So animation. Click run without screen refresh. And then click OK. Put the animation block after the platforming scripts. Because first we want to move and then check if it is equaling to key equals into the number we want, okay? So I can just hide these variables and clean up our stage. Okay, good. So in the define animation, first let's check in if key equals to 1. Then we can switch costume to right. So as you can see now, if the key is equaling to 1, so let me just show the key variable. If key equals to 1, it switch costume to right. And then I just duplicate this, so add another if. Then for key equals to -1. Then we can switch costume to left. Now, the up and down are a little different, so let me explain this. So to explain this, I will be needing the while variable to help me. So first let's just test if the left is working, and yes it is. That's good news. So now, as you can see that if I press the up arrow, it goes up, and then if it is, and also it is greater than 0. If it goes down from reaching its maximum height, which is approximately 5 blocks high, it will be then coming back down. And then while coming back down, it will then go back to a negative number. So, how can we use this to add animation, right? So, let me explain you without this. Thanks, Bible. So, to get things in hand, if it is a positive number, it goes up, right? So, as it is going up, we can set our costume to be up. And then if it is going down, so like the value is a negative number, we can set the value to be something like, let's say, right. Yeah, so it can be down when it is a negative number. So as we can take this also into advantage, how can we do this in code? Follow me and you'll know. So let's put a if block for checking of speed y. So y will in my hand is greater than 0. Then we can switch costume to the up. And then we can add another if for checking y will being lesser than 0. Then we can switch costume to down. Let's just test it. Okay, so it is working. Okay, nice. So now let's add some new things. So also when we are actually having no key press, we will have to add the idle costume, right? So let's test this by adding an if x will equals to 0. So instead of x will, use the key, because x will take some time to go to 0. And then add another if for y will should be equaling to 0. Because if it is not equal to 0, we will be, and the key equals to 0, we will be being idle. Okay? Idle when we're in the air. Idle. Sounds funny, right? So if y fell equals to 0, also then only we can switch costume to our idle pose. So as you can see that when we start, it switch costumes down, and then when we press no key, it switches our costume to be, yep, you guessed it, idle. So that is good news. We have a nice player animation. So meet me in the next episode where, let me see what we can add into this better game. Thanks and bye.